Hello my friends, Virus here. It has now been a full month since Nintendo revealed the Switch 2. And if you haven't been around the channel, I've been making a slew of videos based around the Switch 2. My initial impressions of it. What if it fails? What if they keep making Switches? What does my perfect launch year look like? And I am just getting started. So let us dive into what I think of the Switch 2 1 month later. So in true Nintendo fashion, they just dropped a trailer named An Update from Nintendo. And of course, we were probably all curious what that meant. Even though I feel like we kind of all assumed that it could have been the Switch 2. And it starts off with them showing off the base Switch, and then boom, the Switch gets bigger Joy-Cons, and then they hit us with the name Switch 2, which at first I thought was a very weird move from Nintendo because they've never done that naming scheme before, which of course led me to this video right here. If you want to check this video out, it will be on the end card, probably in a playlist. And I'm not alone in making a bunch of Switch 2 videos. I cannot go a single day without seeing something new related to the Switch 2. Whether it's somebody speculating on a rumor, whether somebody's talking about that little connector piece everybody's worried about, which I will talk about later, or just like how excited they are for the Switch 2. But what do I think about the Switch 2 now? Well, I think Nintendo did a very good job at building up hype because people are still talking about it today, not as prominently, of course. Or perhaps I'm not looking in the right corners of the internet. But like everybody else, I am a little bit worried about its build quality, the technology inside the Switch 2, and so on and so forth. Of course, it's most likely going to be more powerful. If it wasn't, I would be very, very surprised. And hopefully this opens up the door for a lot more third-party possibilities. The only thing that I'm worried about with third-party capability is the new feature that they seem to be showing off with the Joy-Con. And I'm of course talking about the mouse feature that they seem to have teased. It seems like we'll be able to use our Joy-Con like a mouse, or at the very least some new form of motion controls, and I wonder how they're going to implement this into their games. And if third parties will take advantage of this feature. It'd be kind of cool to hook up a keyboard to your Switch, because you can already do that with your normal Switch. You can hook up a keyboard and use it to type. So what if you can just use your Joy-Con as a mouse and like use it as mouse and keyboard? I think that would be a massive step up for the Switch 2. And I think it'd be kind of cool to be able to use our Joy-Con mouse and keyboard. Granted, we might get some third-party keyboard accessories from like PowerA or Genki, or those are the only two coming to mind right now. But the mouse feature is definitely unique, and I'm excited to see how they touch upon that. And who knows, maybe we've been bamboozled. Maybe it's not even a mouse. Maybe it's something completely different. Maybe it's just like a new kind of motion control. I'm sure all of these questions will be answered at the Nintendo Direct for the Switch 2 in April. I do have a video coming at the end of the week. You can see it right here, a little preview of it. And if you don't want to miss it, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss it. But with that, I do want to talk about the little connector piece that will be connecting the Joy-Con to the Switch 2. Everyone seems to be really worried that like that little connector is going to be easily snapped. And I understand why people would be worried about it, because every little connector piece I've seen like that has snapped, of course. And clearly I'm not alone in that if everyone else is worried about it. But I want to kind of debunk it a little bit and talk about why I think it might not break. At least not as easily as people think. If you look at the Joy-Con, there is, some spacing that's going to be held in this little, like, outcropping on the sides of the Switch. And I think that that little piece at the end here, which I'll probably circle or something, or point to it, will be enough to hopefully keep it in place or keep it from snapping. And as a little add-on to this little debunking, one of the biggest rumors about the Switch 2 Joy-Cons is that they will have some magnets in them to keep them in place and stable. So it won't just be that little connector piece, it'll also be some magnets within the Joy-Con that will connect to probably a magnetic base. And depending how strong the magnets are, I'm sure those will also help keep the Joy-Cons in place quite well. So with that said, I don't think that we need to necessarily worry as much about that little connector piece. And I also think there will be just enough wiggle room to where like a kid can't just like jam it in there. At least I'm hoping so. The reason I think it won't break as easily as people like are worried about, because it's Nintendo, it's a new console. I'm sure there was a lot of research and development put into this, and I'm sure that was a talking point brought up during the development of this console. And I'm sure that they were worried about that little piece as well. So I'm sure they took steps during development to make sure it doesn't break as easily, which I hope that eases some of your concern. Of course, I can't guarantee any of this. I'm not a spokesperson for Nintendo. I don't work for Nintendo. I didn't help develop the Switch 2. Again, this is just pure speculation, but that's my opinion on the matter of the little Joy-Con connector, and the Joy-Cons themselves, I guess. I've said this in many other videos, and I'll say it again. It seems like the Switch 2 is just everything the Switch 1 was, but better. It seems like any complaint that you had with the Switch 1, whether it's the kickstand, the Joy-Con, the drifting, heck, even the screen size. That seems to all be fixed. I think they're taking steps to make sure that this is the best Switch successor that they can make, and I think that's really cool. But what do I think of the Switch 2 1 month in? I think it's still going to be a great console. I'm wondering how many exclusives we're going to have at launch, because it really seems like we're only going to have Mario Kart 9 right now, or whatever they choose to call it. I'm really hoping the inside specs are pretty good, and of course we won't know the build quality until we have hands-on experience with it. I think this console is really shaping up to be a really good successor to the Switch. As I'm staring at my Switch 1, I'm already thinking of other videos to make, and I'm still just as excited for the Switch 2, and I hope you are too. But what do you think of the Switch 2 1 month in? Let me know down in the comments. Again, there will be a predictions video for the Nintendo Direct for the Switch 2 on Friday, or at least I think on Friday. That's the planned release date. If something else comes up, then you'll probably know ahead of time. But for now, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss any virus content or my next Switch 2 video. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Virus out.